Hey, how's it going? My name is Garrett and I am the director of photography at Ward One Studios. And I wanted to do a little cinematography breakdown for our most recent commercial campaign for Canada Beef. So we'll maybe watch the commercial real quick and then we'll do a little breakdown.
Every family has its rules. Mom and Dad get dinner on the table before the doorbell rings. The kids argue over forks versus spoons and who's actually helping. The grandparents just show up on time, hungry. So when it's time to feed the ones you love, pick the beef with the leaf. Canadian beef, raised with care on Canadian farms and ranches.
Okay, very cool. So let's take a look at maybe the first scene, which is the kitchen scene. So we were going for a sort of sunsetty vibe here. So I've got some behind the scenes photos that we can take a look at. This here was our kitchen window. So we had a 1200D playing into a couple mirrors, a couple CRLS mirrors. And then we also added a 300X with a spotlight. And so if we take a look at our mirror setup here, I didn't have the barn doors for the Fresnel on the 1200, so we had to get a little creative pushing that light through a CTO gel, but I think it served its purpose. So the 1200 was pushing through that gel and into these mirrors. There's a 25 centimeter diff 2 and a 50 diff 3, and that's just giving us some ambient push, a little bit of texture on the cabinets, as we'll see in a second. So inside here, behind this silk that you see is a F22, and that is giving us our soft ambient key. Right next to our key is this, which is our 60X, which was extending some of that hard light that was pushing in from outside, mainly from that 300X with the spotlight. This 60X was at full spot and just pointed towards the table, is giving us some nice hard light and shadows and specular highlights on some of the food and the hands as our talent was sort of making their meal. The last thing we can take a look at is controlling the ambience of the room. So because this room was, well, the whole house was very white walls everywhere, and we were trying to prevent some of that return of light bouncing off a stainless steel fridge, which was just over there, and the white walls and all that stuff. So we had these are actually sound blankets, but they double as sort of negative fill and bounce depending on obviously which side you're using. So the side facing our kitchen is the black solid side, and then we've got a ultra bounce with the black side towards our talent. And then I think we've got another one of these sound blanket configurations, just sort of tenting in our kitchen area to really give us some shape on the talent. We can take a look at that here. You can see we've got a pretty contrasty frame, and that is because of our highlights on the hands, as I was mentioning. That's mainly, I think, from the 60X and a little bit from the 300 outside, hitting against the hands and skipping across the table here. And of course, our negative fill is giving us this really nice contrast ratio. So we're really breaking up the frame between light and dark. And then if we take a look at our wider version of this frame, we can see how some of those lights that we're playing from outside are giving us some variance from here to here. We've got a little bit of variance, even though it's white. One portion of the cabinet is brighter, so it keeps things interesting. And of course, on this backsplash here and even further back here, it sort of helps give us the illusion of a sort of sunset feel. And again, just these sort of hot spots on hands. And you can see just on our faces here, we've got a nice little key light from that F22. So yeah, those lights paired with a bit of haze and a good amount of negative fill gave us a really moody and visually interesting opener for our commercial. So let me know if you're interested in me doing some more breakdowns for the other scenes in this commercial or any other stuff we've produced in the last few years, and I can dig through our archives and see if we have any BTS that would complement a commentary or a breakdown. And yeah, until next time, take care.